And good morning, One Life. Jeff Bowles here, your host. Thank you for being a part of our weekly agent conference call. It's great to always be on these calls, and I always look forward to them personally. I hope you do as well. We've got a couple of great guests this morning and a new agent that I also consider a friend, Mr. Clint Blackwell. We also have our Director of Health Sales here at our Vice President of Health Sales, Mr. Brandon Clay. Of course, as all of you know, we're just getting Medicare season cranked up, and so we definitely wanted to have him on the call this morning. So we'll look forward to that. But we'll start, as we always do, with our devotion, and I'll give a proper introduction to our guest for the devotion, our guest speaker, Mr. Clint Blackwell. Clint is from Meridian. He graduated from Meridian High School, and I believe went on to receive a degree from Meridian Community College as well. Clint moved his way up in the business of auto sales, eventually becoming finance manager. And I just talked to Clint a little bit. He was finance manager at our local Toyota dealership, but he did a number of different jobs there, did about every job you could possibly do, at least on the sales side. And so he has quite a wealth of knowledge and experience in that type of thing, and he's just made his way over to One Life. Finally, I had a few guys here at One Life able to convince him that this was the opportunity for him, and he's had great success thus far. He and his lovely wife, Samantha, are active members at the church we both attend, the Evangel Temple Church in Meridian. It's my honor now to welcome my friend, Mr. Clint Blackwell, as our devotional speaker. Clint.
Hey, guys. How are y'all this morning?
Doing good, I believe.
All right, great.
I've got them all muted. They might would respond.
Gotcha. Well, thank y'all for having me. I want to just take time, to let y'all know it means a lot to be here at the company. I got to tell y'all a little bit here. I chickened out last week. Jeff gave me an opportunity to kind of do the devotional, and he caught me on the spot there, and I, for whatever reason, couldn't pull the trigger, but I'm here today and glad to have the opportunity. More importantly, I'm just thankful to be at a company that allows us to be able to put God, at the forefront of what we're doing here. And as Jeff told y'all earlier, I've worked in sales, obviously, in the car business, and overall sales is sales, but it's a night and day difference being in an environment like this. It really is spearheaded with the vision of what God has in store for the community and each of us here. So I'm just so glad to be here. But at any rate, what I wanted to talk to everyone about today in terms of our devotional is something that's kind of, I'm sure, probably affected some of us at some point or the other, so I hope y'all get a message out of this. And it's in terms of what your motivations are here in the company, working daily, and the attitude that you keep with it. So, one thing that you see a lot in sales is sometimes you have someone kind of get down if they're going in a slump or something to that extent. And, as leaders, either people in the office or people that train or work with, or if you're in the field, one thing that we want to be able to do is to help kind of motivate them, get them out of that. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's up to them, though. But I kind of find peace in some of the scriptures that I've found that kind of help shine a light on that. Being the heart of a servant leader, really. How many of us here know, obviously, we're servants to God? Amen to that. Proverbs 4:23 says, "The heart is the seat of our soul, our emotions and our passion. It is the very essence of our being, and that which drives our thoughts and our motives." So it's no wonder God tells us to guard our hearts. Really, what we're surrounding ourselves, what we hear daily, what we choose to put in, comes out. So really what we want to make of ourselves a lot of times ends up being what we surround ourselves with. So it's so important to be around people that are going to be more successful, be around people that are, wanting to drive us to be better. So it's really a matter of surrounding yourself with the right people, the right things. You might ask, how can I serve God too? By having a heart of a servant. Ultimately what we're here to do, yes, we are here to help people get insurance, but it's when we have that moment to either share the truth of the gospel or to, help someone become saved Jesus Christ, taking that time when you have that opportunity to be able to speak and say, hey, man, if I can help you with this, this is what's available for you. This is where salvation comes from, the love of Christ. So, I've seen it, and I've been able to sit and hear through a few of these devotions, and it's so great to hear that, people aren't just talking it. They're really, I see it being put into action at this company. I've sat with, Ron Reed. I've done a couple of training weeks with him and had the pleasure of being able to see, him being able to put some of that into use. I've been with Jeff a couple of times too. It's really great to know that this company's not just talk; they really do, practice it in effect. But one thing I want to leave everyone with is how can you, achieve this? How can you really have this renewed spirit about you? And as simple as asking God to be able to put that in your heart to to have that actively thinking, how can I serve God? And so Ezekiel 36:26, says, God gave me his promise in response. It says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. So if we ask God to help us become servant-hearted and to help us stay motivated and focused on, serving him first and then being our leaders second, going out and doing what we're supposed to, we'll accomplish his vision, the goals that he has for us in our life. He'll make us bountifully successful in our life. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all this morning. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. You mind praying over us before you cut out?
Absolutely. Father, I thank you again for having us all together here today. For anyone that can hear this message, I pray that if someone got something out of it that's, able to practice it and put it in their daily life, Lord, I thank you for placing us with a team here that truly honors you, Lord, and that is motivated to do what your vision and plan is, Father. So I pray that the leadership and that the staff here stays in that mentality and never loses sight of that, God. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Absolutely. A great devotion this morning by a new member to the One Life team, Clint Blackwell. Clint, again, thank you for being on the conference call and doing our devotion. As always, we like to start our calls and our meetings with a thought on the Word of God, maybe an encouragement to any of you that are out there. We truly do have an exemplary team of not only salespeople and not only individuals, but also believers. And I'm very proud, as Clint mentioned, to be a part of this team. And Clint is a great new addition to the team. So watch out for him. As a matter of fact, I believe just a couple weeks ago, he was up pretty high on the leaderboard. I remember seeing that name. So that brings us to our production update now. We'll go through our weekly production update. And I want to say a big thank you. I take this opportunity now to say thank you to one of the fellow members of our marketing team, a fellow marketing rep that does quite an excellent job, Ms. Hallie Major Phillips. She helps get these reports together, so I want to give her a little brief shout out there. She does an excellent job for One Life here. So, and we'll go now to our production report, starting with the entirety of One Life. We did, for the week of 10/10 through 10/14, did $809,896 worth of annualized premium. That's an excellent job, you guys. A little lower than what our standard has been over the last, say, month or two, but still an excellent week for the entirety of One Life. We'll move now to our team report. Starting at number 5, we had United Senior Brokerage, again a familiar name to the top 5 of the team list out of Metter, Georgia, coming in with $51,393. At number 4, Team Meridian with $54,049. At number 3, just about $15 over number 4 in Team Meridian, we've got at number 3, Legacy United out of Lakeland. Again, $59,064 worth of submitted annualized premium. Excuse me, that's actually about $5,000 over. But still, that's only about one agent's production right there. So see, just one recruit out of Meridian might get us there. At number 2 on the list, coming in with $61,449 worth of submitted AP. Life Management Group, for an excellent week. Our bunch, they're out of Opelika, Alabama, right close to the Georgia-Alabama state line. You might as well call them Auburn. I'm sure the overwhelming majority of that team are fans of the Tigers. So that's a great week for Life Management. And jockeying back and forth, as they always do, just a hair over Life Management for the year, but for the week did, wow, an awesome job. Innovative Insurance Brokers came in with $147,770 worth of submitted annualized premium to be the team of the week this week. So excellent job for that team there. We'll move now to our individuals and our agents top 10 list. At number 10, a guy here out of our Meridian office, Garrett Touchstone, came in with $7,371 worth of submitted AP. Number 9 on the list, Charles Saltzman with $7,458. Number 8, also a manager, Mr. Timothy Langford with $7,649. Number 7 on the list, probably the hardest name to fit out of your mouth, if you will. It's quite a mouthful of a name, I guess I'm trying to say. Mr. Paul Garrett Young Mills came in with $7,897. I made it through the name and also the production. Excellent job there, Paul. Number 6, David Kiselak with $8,210 submitted AP. The top half of the top 10 list now. At number 5, Amy Livingston with $9,700 even worth of submitted AP. Number 4, Eden Barshin with $13,385 of AP submitted for the week of 10/10 through 10/14. The top 3, starting out at number 3, Spencer Long, $14,362 worth of premium submitted for Spencer. Wow, what a week. At number 2, just a shade behind our leader for the week, at number 2, Nikki Yost with $16,050 submitted annualized premium. At number 1, the agent of the week, Mr. Daniel Long, $19,569 worth of submitted AP, probably just about maybe a $40 app away from breaking the $20,000 mark. And that's just for 1 week's worth of business. So, Daniel, you're definitely doing something right. Congratulations for a great week, also being our agent of the week here at One Life America. We'll move now to our marketing update, and this in fresh from our Director of Marketing, Mr. David Hosh. I check in with him every week to make sure we've got the best info to give you. So this is kind of his marketing update for me to pass along to you. We mentioned both of these things last week, but we'll give you a little bit of an update. For those of you looking for Leadership Summit registration online, it should be available within the next week or so. We've changed venues for this quarter's event, and we'll also have a few other minor changes. Listen in to our conference call weekly for those updates. And go ahead and mark your calendar for December 5th through the 7th. We can't wait to see you there. Also, if you haven't seen our very own Ted DiBiase Jr.'s Monday Slam videos, go check them out immediately following this morning's conference call. He recently started posting these weekly motivational videos for us. And as a matter of fact, he's just wrapping up his Monday Slam series focusing on our core values. So those have definitely been great thus far. We're looking forward to seeing what comes there with Ted DiBiase Jr.'s Monday Slam. And what a great marketing tool that you can use personally and also for recruiting purposes. It'll get you motivated and pumped up personally, and then you can use that to put one of the faces that's going to be the most familiar with people out there, a name that folks might know, give you an opportunity to just say, hey, you remember Ted DiBiase Jr.? Maybe show them the video, say, hey, check this out. He's a new addition to our team. You can utilize that, and make sure you do utilize our marketing department for the benefit of you and your team. Speaking of utilizing members of our own team, we have quite an awesome resource in the latest addition to our One Life Management team. That would be our featured speaker for this morning's call, Mr. Brandon Clay. Brandon became a member of the One Life family just a few months ago, but he's actually had a relationship with us dating back a few decades. Brandon spent the bulk of his career in myriad leadership capacities on the carrier side. Most notably, he served Care Improvement Plus as their Senior National Director of Sales and Product from November of 2006 through May 2011. It was his relationship with us in that role that made his hire a homecoming of sorts here at One Life. Brandon has been charged with overseeing our tactical re-engagement into the senior health market. He's a native of the Peach State, having attended the Georgia Institute of Technology for 3 years before finding himself a career in sales. Brandon is happily married to his high school sweetheart and soulmate, Natalie. They have 3 children and currently reside in McDonough, Georgia. It's my honor to introduce our new Vice President of Health Sales, Mr. Brandon Clay. Brandon, are you there with us?
Yes, and happy Monday, Jeff and Clint, and to the entire One Life team. But yes, I'm here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the call this morning. The floor is all yours.
Well, very good, Jeff. And first and foremost, want to welcome Clint to the team and thank him for the devotional. As some of you know, because some of the things have started to circulate, I write books. And one of the major themes, and they're books about sales, they're parables, they're kind of tied to our industry, tied to life. But something that Clint said that really resonated, and it sticks with me by way of a mantra, is getting past, thinking about your commission, but more about the mission. And one of my phrases, kind of consistent throughout the book, is as I serve, I deserve. So we don't want to disconnect service from being able to make a great living for our families. And that's a lot of what I'll talk about. The health products that we're adding and re-engaging with Medicare, quite frankly, give all of us a higher level of service opportunity, which should correspond to a higher level of revenue and income opportunity. So it's a lot to talk about, but in the next 10 minutes or so, I basically want to answer what I'll call the top 10 questions. And even as Jeff had his top 10 list, and I won't count this down David Letterman style, I'll very rapidly try to answer what I hear most, as over the last 4.5 months, I've been traveling the country, talking to key partners, to agents. And so don't deem this call initially as a recruitment call as much as a get-ready call. Because as time goes on and we start evolving and start putting more things in play, chances are we'll be coming to your partners, your uplines, and to you directly to engage you in this concept. But thankfully, question number 1, Jeff really or number 10 as we count down, Jeff answered, who am I? I have been doing this for about 20 years, started with United Healthcare, went to Cigna, and then the last assignment, as Jeff mentioned, was a small little startup called Excel Health, which then became Care Improvement Plus, and bringing my career full circle, was actually purchased by United Healthcare a few years ago. So I've got tons of history and experience in this industry, but quite frankly still have a great love, because the beneficiaries that we serve, which is predominantly the Medicare population, and yes, people who are under 65 who have disability, I love this audience. They are also deserving of an advisor, someone to help them navigate the choices. So then question number 9 as we count down. Does this replace the current strategy? And I can actually hear the voice of Scotty Elliott right now saying, Brandon, don't you slow down, cannibalize, or do anything to impact our current sales models. And as Jeff kind of gave us what our weekly totals have been, One Life has actually, of course, achieved top-tier status as a major producer of final expense, mortgage protection, and under the federal program where a lot of great things are happening. But in some respects, what I'm doing on the health side is complementary. So as you think about your clientele, particularly those of you who are final expense focused, many of your clients are over the age of 65, or they're getting ready to turn 65. So there might be opportunity that is being left behind if you are not engaging them in the core products which are Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, and indemnity products. But for certain, you've got to maintain your focus on those life products because they become the lead generation and the relationship builder that allow you to compliantly transition those clients that you sold final expense to Medicare products and the other ones that I've mentioned. So you definitely want to hold the line and stay the course. So no, the strategy is not changing. It's simply adding components that are complementary. So then question number 8, who enrolls or buys these types of programs that we deal with in healthcare? And as Jeff mentioned and alluded to, we are in the second week of what is known for Medicare Advantage as the AEP, Annual Election Period. It's from October 15th to December 7th. But don't worry if you think you've missed that window, because the One Life strategy will give you compliant year-round activity leveraging the clients you already have, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and Indemnity give year-round opportunity. There are about 55 million people right now over the next 6 remaining weeks having to make a decision to stay in the plan they're on, to join a plan, or to go from, say, Medicare Supplement to Medicare Advantage or vice versa. But the reality is 1/3, literally 33% of everyone on Medicare is joining a Medicare Advantage plan. 1/3 are buying Medicare supplements. And then the other third have retiree benefits, their VA, there are all kinds of other things, and even within that there's opportunity. But the point is, in record numbers in our history, people are joining and enrolling and buying these products. So the next question, why do they enroll? The reality there is that when you turn 65 or get Medicare coverage through disability, it has many gaps and different areas that you're vulnerable, and your coverage leaves you exposed. And I won't go into all of them now, but just realize, as I usually give a very visual analogy, when someone is on Medicare, they're literally crossing a tightrope, like the great Carl Walenda, for those of you that might recall. And if they had a Part B deductible, that's an area of exposure. Part A inpatient for the hospital is almost $1,300 for the first day that you stay in the hospital. So the reality is they have gaps. So they want to join Medicare Advantage to cover those gaps. And in many cases, Medicare Advantage is a zero premium plan. Imagine not actually having to ask for a check to sell Medicare Advantage. Medicare Supplemental gives them full comprehensive coverage, and there is a premium associated with it, but as 1/3 of the population is choosing that, trust me, they're ready for you to help them and to make that buying decision. But they're enrolling in record numbers because Medicare, traditional red, white, and blue card Medicare, are leaving them exposed. So then question number 6 as we count down. What's the major difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplemental? Well, they're both private companies that offer benefits that basically either add to, in the case of Medicare Supplement, what Medicare doesn't pay, or it totally privatizes their coverage with companies like Aetna, United, Humana. So that member has the option of getting their health care totally delivered by a private company, in the case of Medicare Advantage, and yes, with the possibility of a zero premium, or they can add Medicare Supplemental to their traditional red, white, and blue card Medicare and have more covered items than they would if they were on Medicare alone. But if I had to tell you the major difference, one would be fully comprehensive in the case of Medicare Supplemental, but it also carries a much higher premium. Just to give you an example, while a Medicare Advantage might be zero premium, A plan F, as in Frank, Medicare Supplement, might be $130, $150. So you'll start to see the differences, but again realize people in record numbers are buying or enrolling in both options. So I'm going to accelerate a little bit here, and I know I'm already going at a New York minute with a great Southern accent, by the way. But question number 5, can you use and leverage your existing client base to market these products? The fast answer is yes. If you've got an existing clientele of final expense clients that might be over the age of 65, they might even be Medicare, Medicaid, what we call dual eligibles. There's a host of people that would be eligible and would likely already be purchasing or enrolling into these plans. Same thing for Medicare Supplemental. So if you're doing final expense, mortgage protection, or the federal program, and you're running into people who have Medicare, then you can leverage your existing client base, and there are compliant ways to do it. So question number 4. Down to question 4, what companies are we focused on? And in the majority sense, there will be names that you're already familiar with, though you may not be marketing them now. On Medicare Advantage, it's Aetna, Humana, United Healthcare. For Medicare Supplement, it's household names like AARP, Mutual of Omaha, that most of you are familiar with your life business, but also one that you may not be as familiar with, Americo, that has a great Medicare supplement that is ranked 1, 2, and 3 in most of the markets they're located in. And then we'll round out the portfolio with a company called Guaranteed Trust Life and Heartland for the indemnity. So down to question number 3, how do you make money? And while certainly in an open forum like this, any conversation about commission could be a loaded one, but in the case of Medicare Advantage, commissions are standardized nationally at what we call the street level. And while I won't get into the detail of it, the great thing about Medicare Advantage is it pays a level commission amount, roughly $222 a year for every member you enroll, but they do that for the life of the member. So if an agent has 100 Medicare members, that's roughly $25,000 a year in annual renewal money for every year that you maintain that membership. And then down to question number 2, which I know in this sort of concise, very simple countdown of questions that I usually get asked, the number 2 question is, how do you get started? Well, first, again, as this is not so much a recruitment call as building awareness of where One Life is going strategically, as we get engaged and start talking to the big partners that we have, you'll likely be hearing more about this in the new year, but you do need a health license. And I know many of you who are life-focused, that may be something you'd have to obtain. But within that, you'd also have to do certification and contracting with the Medicare Advantage carriers. Medicare Supplemental is literally click and contract. There's usually not any testing or anything like that involved, as there is in Medicare Advantage. And then with indemnity, the same, simply clicking and contracting. But the main thing I want to leave you with, if you're life-focused, is you would need your health license. And then finally, question number 1 is, okay, Brandon, I'm willing to dig into all of this and learn and do the contracting and do all the certification. I want to serve my clients at a higher level, which will help me do better for my families, but I'm a little nervous. How am I going to learn all of this? And that's where I think that's my key role in this initial phase, is to help you learn through the process. And in that sense, we'll have everything from webinars to online training videos. And, of course, this is the first academy, along with Jeff, a little bit of a shameless plug, from December 5th to December 7th. So I'll be holding breakout sessions just as they do now for the mortgage protection, the federal program, and, of course, the Life Academy. And I think that those of you that are interested in building this as a 2017 initiative and strategy would be very well served coming to check out the Academy. So I would love to invite you there. But, Jeff, I know that we're going right into the bewitching hour of noontime here Eastern, so I'll turn it back over to you. And I know that's been fast and furious, but I absolutely look forward to being able to speak with each of you to talk about how this could impact your personal business and how it can help take you to the next level. So with that, Jeff, I will turn it back over to you.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, just in case, I know depending upon the situation, sometimes we'll open the floor for folks to ask questions. Do you mind if we have maybe open the floor just for a question or two here? Maybe it'd be something that could benefit the other callers?
Well, absolutely.
All right. Let's do that quickly. We've got a decent number of folks on the line. I will adjust the settings so that we can all unmute ourselves. All you have to do is press *6 to do that. Let me adjust those settings now. All right, great. So again, if you'd like to ask Brandon a question, again, we're talking about utilizing members of our team and different things that we have available to you. Make sure you do that. We'll give you the opportunity now. Again, all you have to do is press *6, and you can ask our Director of Health Sales, Mr. Brandon Clay, a question if you'd like, and maybe it'd be something that could be beneficial to us all. We'll open the floor now. Again, *6, state your name and your question, and we'll go from there. And we'll give just a moment. If anyone has a question, you can certainly do that. Again, *6. All right. And I tell you what, if maybe we didn't give you enough time to prepare a good question, or maybe it's something you'd like to just ask Brandon directly, again, he's going to make himself available to you at our Leadership Summit and our Academy also. So if you will, make sure you plan to be there. Get in contact with us, and go ahead and get your registration set to go so you can be a part of that. We're looking forward to it, and we're planning again to have that on December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Make sure you plan to come and be a part. If you haven't been a part of one of these events, make sure you do that. The Leadership Summit, the Academy, we also have some other opportunities for training and things, some breakout sessions. So make sure you come be a part of that. It's something that can be very beneficial to you. And again, you've got folks like Brandon Clay that can be a resource to you. You can ask questions and even the opportunity to rub shoulders with other agents that are doing things much like you are. Maybe they even have some things you could pick up and glean from one another. So we want you to take full advantage of that. And make sure you register. We'll have registration opening up here in the next week or so. We'll let you know. Probably we'll have all the details on how to do that on next week's call. That's going to wrap us up for this week. Again, I would like to send a big thank you out to both Clint Blackwell and Mr. Brandon Clay for being on the call this week. We look forward to yet another week with you guys, and next week we'll have a couple of new guests. We may continue on the theme of having some health-related, maybe Medicare-type folks talk on the call. I'm going to see if I can't get Carlton Lafferty to be on the call. He said he wants to help us out as much as possible. He's been very successful writing these types of products, and I know it's something that we're just launching into here at One Life, or at least reintroducing to our agents. So we want to give you the best resources we can, and certainly we'll have one in Carlton if I can get him on a call here coming up over the next couple of weeks. Thank you all for being a part of the conference call this week. As always, we're praying for you. We'll do anything we can to assist you. Thank you all for being on this call. We pray that God blesses you, and we hope you have a wonderful week.